Alright guys, real quick little intro. I'm doing a YouTube hop with the girls from Krazy Island Studio. Sorry if I'm a mess. It's the end of the day. So it's bedtime. It's 10 o'clock. That's like 2 hours past my bedtime. So anyway, YouTube hop with the girls from Krazy Island Studio, Krazy. If you're not following them on Facebook, you should be. It's Krazy Island Family, and it's a very supportive group. They welcome everyone with all levels of experience, and everyone's there to help. And if you have questions, you can always ask. The other day, someone asked about Netflix recommendations. It's very open, very supportive. It's a very great vibe, so go check them out. But we're doing a collaboration where we all use the same 10 prompts to see what we all got, and we're comparing the pages. So check out my page. Then at the end of the video, you will see the pictures of the other girls' pages. Then below the video, you will find the links to the other girls' videos. And make sure you check out their channels, like, subscribe, all that jazz. And so yeah, let's get into the video.
Hi everyone, this is an awesome little handmade journal that a friend of mine named Paula from New Zealand made for me. She brought it all the way from New Zealand for me. Not just for me, but she brought it when she came to the States. So these are the prompts I'm going to be using. This is a collaboration video with Krazy Island Studio. The prompts are in this order: use a stamp in at least 3 places. Number 2, add paint using a palette knife or card. 3, draw, paint, or write something with your non-dominant hand. 4, turn the work upside down for the next 3 prompts. 5, add molding or texture paste or a stencil. 6, add acrylic paint, any colors. 7, add dots. 8, add something with crayons or pencils. 9, tear paper and collage it down. 10, add a tag, label, or envelope. So right now I'm stamping using a background stamp. And I'm going to be doing a little bit different format on my videos. For the product supplies, like what colors I'm using, what products I'm using, you're going to have to visit my website. So there will be a link below the video that will include, it will be a link to the products that I used and the colors that I used. So if you're interested in finding that out, feel free to click on over. Feel free to subscribe to my website while you're there. There's going to be some big changes coming soon. So this semester is so far as exactly easy as I thought it was going to be. So hooray for me. I am using a catalyst tool. My best friend got this for me when I went to Anaheim, and she got me a couple actually. And I really like it. It's really cool. However, the handle, they like to pop off because they're just rubber, and it's just kind of like a, it just pops on. So I'm thinking one of 2 things. I'm either going to not use it with the handle like I just did there, or I'm going to glue it onto the handle. So I haven't decided yet. So now I'm stamping in black. This is another background stamp, and it's just like a typewriter font, and I'm just building up some layers right now, just trying to create some interesting background texture. That first stamp was like a charred wood type of background stamp. So going in with some more paints. Now I used a lot of fluid paints, and the reason for this was I wanted them to build on one another. I didn't want to cover the color behind it. I wanted them to create more intensity in different colors, and so there's all kinds of variation in color throughout the whole page. And I especially wanted that because that center little piece in this journal, it was a completely different color, and since I didn't gesso this paper, it was a completely different color. So I wanted everything to just kind of go without having to gesso and start from scratch. And this just goes to show you don't have to gesso. It's entirely up to you. It gives you a different look. The paint acts differently. It gives you different options. So gessoing is optional. Some paper will require it. It just depends on the paper. And the paper that she used in this was actually pretty good quality paper. So just going in with some more fluid acrylic with my palette knife, and I am just going here and there. Now this is like a red base paint, and so in the spots where it's hitting the green, it's turning a brown color. you can't be afraid to make mud when you're mixing paint. Sometimes mud is okay. Sometimes mud we call brown. So sometimes making brown is a good thing. And in this case, I wanted to go with a kind of verdigris, rusty type of look. If you follow me on Pinterest, I have a board on there called Wonderfully Weathered. And it's all sorts of naturally rusted things and things that just look old and funky. And I was inspired by that. I've been trying to get myself to look at my Pinterest boards before I start creating, so that I see something that I remembered I wanted to do, so it inspires me to start something. So I started with with that board for this project. So again, just using that palette knife just to scrape randomly here and there. Now the next prompt was, so far we've used a stamp in at least 3 places and add paint using a palette knife. Right now we're at draw, paint, or write something with your non-dominant hand. So I am painting words with my non-dominant hand, and I'm using an acrylic ink for this. And this is a metallic color, and the reason I used this color was because I knew it would kind of pop out, but it would also blend into the colors I already have. I didn't really want this layer to show. I know the whole point of the prompt is that you're doing it, and I did do it. It is there. It is visible. I didn't want to see it because my handwriting's awful. So it's there, and it adds actually some pretty background color. You can't really tell it's words, but then again, when I write using my dominant hand, you can't really tell it's words, so that's okay. So I'm just using just a very fine-tipped brush, and again that ink. So I decided to spatter some of that ink, and I started to use that brush, and that wasn't working. So I grabbed for my spatter brush, and the tip with this is don't hit it like you would normally with a paintbrush. You want to actually run your finger through the bristles and like upward, and the bristles will then flick down onto the page, and it creates some really nice tiny texture and spatters. So this is some modeling paste because we're on the next step, which is, oh, by the way, don't tell the girls at Krazy Island Studios I totally skipped this step. Okay, so the next step was turn your work upside down for the next 3 prompts. I forgot to do that at this point, so I'm going to turn it upside down after this prompt for the following 3 prompts. So, yeah, sorry, girls. I'm going to mess up one more time before this video is over, just a heads up. So I was just mixing up a couple of different colors of acrylic, and with that modeling paste, I wanted to create my own color. And now I am putting this modeling paste through this art stencil, and I really like this stencil. This also came from my friend when I went to California. And I did not want a perfect stencil. The paint was very sloppy, and the background is very old, and it just everything looks old. So I didn't want a perfect stenciled image. So what you're gonna see as I go back over the word art, I'm gonna like kind of dig at the modeling paste that's on there to pull through some of that color. I'm doing it right here. And I'm doing that, like I said, to pull through some of that color, so that way the words aren't perfect. And then I'm just going through and adding some more of the parts of that stencil. So like that kind of Moroccan kind of tiled design, and there's some like spattery images. And this is actually a really cool stencil. My friend knows my style. She's like, "This is so you. I saw it and thought of you." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. This is very me." So now the only problem I have with the fact that I kind of dug through the stencil and pulled up some of the colors, that word art isn't as bold as it would have been had I left it the way it was. But that's okay. Again, this is like an old, grungy, funky page versus a nice, pristine, new page. So I was okay with that. So again, just going through adding some of the, smears and some of the funky texture on this stencil. And I'm okay with it not being perfect. I'm using that bulldog clip just to keep everything up so it doesn't dry. So here's where I finally turned it upside down. I realized I'd missed a step. So the next step was to add acrylic paint, any color. And this is, let's see, I think, pretty sure, yes, yeah, this is like a bronze acrylic paint. And I'm just touching it here and there. I wanted to pull a little bit more metallic color through. This had a little bit of a sheen to it, but I wanted it to be sheenier. The first reddish color that I used was quinacridone nickel azo gold, and it has a little bit of a sheen to it, but I wanted more. So then I just added another layer of yet more shimmery color. It was actually a shimmer paint. So then this step is to add dots, and for this step I'm using white fluid acrylic with a stylus. And I like styluses because they have a little ball at the end, and when you pick up the paint on the ball, you can get a good 3-4 dots out of it. With a paintbrush, I usually don't, the end of a paintbrush, I usually don't have as good control as when I'm using my stylus. So you can do it with the end of a paintbrush. Don't feel the need to run out and grab a stylus just for that. But styluses are also good for scoring. If you have a scoring board, or even if you don't, they're good for scoring. They're good for creating dots, and they're good for all sorts of things. So I also use my stylus on my bloom tag to kind of curl the flower up to make it three-dimensional. So if you haven't seen that video yet, make sure you go check out the bloom tag. It's on my channel. So yeah, still just adding dots and still upside down. I think the other girls are done being upside down after this step, but I'm going to continue to be upside down because I forgot to flip it. So oops. So make sure you check out their videos. I'm going to add their pictures at the end of this video, and I'm going to add links to their videos and to their channels. So make sure you check out their videos and see what they made. They've made some very beautiful pages, and it's interesting that we all use the same prompts and yet came up with very different results. So I will definitely make sure to link to the other girls' videos at the end. I have pictures at the end as well. So I'll link in the description box below, as well as you should be able to click through. Actually, I won't do the click-through links because you'll want to see everyone. So I'll just do the description box links. So make sure you check out their pages. They've got some really beautiful pages. I'm actually really excited about seeing how they did some of them. So the girls in the YouTube hop are Claudia Rossi and Gina Ahrens and Peta Thompson, and they're all a part of Krazy Island Studios, which is on Facebook at Krazy Island, Krazy with a K, Krazy Island Family. And so if you're not there, go check them out. They do a lot of sharing. They do a lot of helping people. It's a very supportive vibe on that Facebook page. So as you can see, I was adding some watercolor crayons to the and these are Neocolor 2s, to the sides to kind of help that art pop a little bit. Art pop. Did you see what I did there? It's Gaga's album. Never mind. So I am using some more water soluble products. These are gelatos, and I am just going right around the edge with it, and then using my finger to smear it out. I, at some point during this process, took this whole page outside and sealed it. I wanted it to be sealed and kind of glossy, and so I took it outside and sprayed it with a spray sealer. And so the nice thing is that even though these are water soluble, they're still sticking really beautifully to the acrylic spray that's on there. So a good acrylic sealer is always good to have, and I always recommend get a matte one and a glossy one. Working in art journals, sometimes glossy is not so great because glossy equals sticky. but I'll tell you how to fix that in just a second. So I'm using that gelato again in the same color I used to edge the page, and this is a tag, just a little tiny tag. This is where I skipped yet another prompt because we added the dots, we did something with crayons and pencils, and I skipped tearing and collaging paper. So I moved straight to add a tag. Thankfully, it doesn't affect anything in any way, shape, or form. So I just colored up that tag a little bit. The back side of this tag has a print on it, so I'm actually going to flip this tag over in a minute. So I think you'll see it. And this is some more acrylic ink. I think it's Liquitex, and I just wanted to create some drips, so put it right along the top and sprayed it and let it drip and do its thing. So sorry I've been kind of scatterbrained. I've been doing a lot of tweaking on my website. If you haven't checked out the new website yet, it's got a new design, it's got a new look, it's got a new feel. Some of the stuff's not working overly properly if you go from like a mobile phone. This is more of the acrylic paint that I used on the page just to, I don't know, make a mess. I don't know why I did that step. Oh, I think because you're only going to see that part. See, that's why I did that. So yeah, if you haven't checked out the new website yet, make sure you check out the new website. I've been a little bit better about posting lately, so that's good. Now, in my tradition of mixed metals, I grabbed for a gold pen, and this pen wrote like a dream over the gelatos, over the acrylic paint. So it's absolutely fantastic. So again, if you want to know what I'm using, you have to check out the new site. So, haha, I gotcha. So that's good. I'm gonna have a couple. I already have a new video up and uploaded, but it won't be out until next Sunday. And it's a good one. I like this one. You'll recognize the style. It's not my style. It's someone else's style. But I give props where props are due, and I'm going to give props to the person whose style apparently I was going to emulate that day. I did not sit down intending to create a page in this individual style, but I did. So again, I will give props where props are due, and I will link to this person's videos. So this is where I realized I had forgotten to collage down some paper. So I grabbed some sewing pattern and just tore out a couple of spots that had some really cool design elements because the sewing pattern is tissue paper. And when you use a really wet medium like Mod Podge, it almost completely disappears. Yeah, no, pretty much completely. I'm looking at it right now at this page. And it disappears. You really only see the printed pattern. So it's really cool because you can see this pattern, but you don't see the paper. So sewing pattern's always good to have on hand. So once this page was dry, I took baby powder and covered the whole page in baby powder and just kind of rubbed it in with my hand, and then took a wag. I took a wag. As Bob Walters, here at Imperfect Impulses. I took a rag and I cracked me up. I took a rag and wiped off the excess baby powder. Sorry. So there you go. Yeah. So this was, I actually did this a couple hours later. I told the girls I was done, and I was like, oh crap, I forgot a step. So there's the page. You know, this page actually does not photograph well. I tried it in natural light. I tried it with an alt light. I tried it with the room lights because it's so shiny. There's so many like metallic paints on it. I had a really hard time getting a good photograph. This one actually wasn't bad here. So for my quote, I put, art is the feelings I can't express verbally in the form of shape, color, texture, and beauty. This is Claudia's art journal page, so make sure you check out Claudia Rossi. This next one is Gina Aaron's, and again, all these links will be below. And last and definitely not least, because they're some of my favorite colors, Peta Thompson. And these are some great pages. I hope you check out their channels. Make sure you subscribe. Check me out on social media. And don't forget, all of my products are on my website. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. All of my contact information is here. Bye.